Ridin Steel is brought to you in part by
Ray Labby & Sons Incorporated in Brunswick, a family-owned construction company servicing the Mid-Coast area since 1955. Northern Energy Services LLC of Maine, your locally owned business for residential energy audits, insulation, air sealing, and performance upgrades. For all your home energy needs, it's Northern Energy Services.
Hundred roaring engines, riding steel. Hearts gleaming in the sun, we're riding steel. The rubber hits the road, I'm done doing what I'm told. I'm doing what I want, riding steel. Leather on my back, and the wind in my face. I'm one with the highway, and with the human race. This iron horse will separate the bull from what is real. It's the nature of the beast, we're riding steel. It's the nature of the beast, we're riding steel. We're riding steel.
Calling out our names, telling us to follow, we'll never be the same. It can lead to riches, it can lead to fame. It can bring us sorrow, it can bring us pain. On the road, up on every stage. On the road, come and hear us play. On the road, do town every night. On the road, this music is our life.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Ridin Steel. We are back at Fort Andros for the ride that I anticipate and look forward to the most each year. I really do love this ride. We now call it the Stoney's Memorial Run, where it used to be the Stoney's Lobster Run. And so we got a lot of people that we're going to have on our minds today, no doubt. And people are starting to gather in the parking lots here. We got the special VIP section that's beginning to fill up, and we got people forming up on the other lots as well. So if we can fill these parking lots, we're talking about 500-600 motorcycles. If we start going over there, we're talking about 1,000, my friend.
Well, we'll send Terry around to count each one individually.
With me today is Todd Sanders, one of my most loyal hosts that I have. I think he's hot up for friends. I don't know. How you doing today, Todd?
Likes I can get on Facebook. I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day. There's not a cloud in the sky here. Yeah. And this ride is real special to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was the first ride I ever went on. Yeah. I got my bike at the end of July 12 years ago, and Stoney's obviously run was always the last Sunday in August, so it was. This one was the first organized ride I ever did. It's also one of those runs that I went on several years ago that I was interviewed by one of your former hosts. That's right. And from there I became here. So Stoney was an interesting guy. And is this a time where I could segue into a Stoney story? Absolutely. If I can? I did not know Stoney, nearly to obviously the degree you did. And there's probably some stories we can tell about Stoney on camera, and there's probably some we can't.
Most you can't.
But one of the on-air stories that I'll share is I had just picked up my motorcycle. I was, like I said, about 12 years ago. I was hanging out in a local establishment, which I think he affectionately referred to as the office back in the day. And I was sitting across the room, and there was Stoney with a bunch of friends, and these are these bikers, and I just gotten back into riding. I'm like, wow, that is so cool. And he got up, he goes, okay guys, time to ride, and they all got up and they were headed out, and they were apparently headed to White's Beach to see a band I think they had just started to play then called Twice Shy, which many of our fans will know those guys. And as he's walking out the door, he looks over at me sitting all by myself, says, hey, you got a bike? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, then you're coming with us. So, he didn't know me from Jack, and invited me to ride along with him, went over to White's Beach, and that was really the the start of the passion that I have for motorcycle rides and meeting people and interviewing people and hanging with people like this and just the camaraderie, like you said, that these are faces. Some of these people come out for this ride and this ride only, so we'll see a lot of familiar faces, but there are some faces we see once once a year.
Stoney was quite a character. He really was. One of the most famous things that I remember him saying is that bikers have more fun than people. And his father, talking to his father, he told me that, Stoney was all about the underdog. He was friends with everybody from all walks of life, and he's just a great guy, and we do miss him really bad.
And I think one of the things is whether you agreed with some of the choices he or anyone else makes for that matter. The one thing that he will be remembered for, his legacy, will be this ride, which generated so many funds, and near the end of the ride that he was organized, it was for the Maine Children's Cancer Research, or their funds. So I remember that one show you did. I wasn't there, but they actually rode to the hospital. I think it was Barbara Bush Hospital, and he got to see the Owie box. Yeah. And just the interaction between him and the surgeons and the doctors and support staff that were there and the people that were on the ride. That was. I don't know if he ever realized the impact that he had until he got to see it actually. And obviously, I'm speaking in ignorance here. I don't know, but just the look on his face, I don't know if he really understood the impact he had, because for him it was having fun and about the people.
Right. Today's ride is going to be for Camp Susan Curtis, which is a wonderful organization, a campground for kids, and the money raised goes towards scholarships so that they can attend this camp and go. They learn so much there. The life lessons that they acquire are just so needed in today's youth, don't you believe?
Well, and it changes their family tree. I mean, not only does it make their life better, but it makes their lives better for the children that they will eventually have. And you and I have seen that. I mean, we are fortunate enough to be invited to the banquet at the beginning of the year, the kickoff for Camp Susan Curtis, and with the former Governor Curtis was there and the former First Lady of the state of Maine. So we get to hear those keynote speakers, and they get up there and they tell you how they didn't have the resources some families have. Right. Their lot in life was pretty much set, right. Or so they believed, until they were given the opportunity to get out and experience new things and see what the world had to offer them. And not only have they taken the ball and run with it, but they've done great things, and it has changed generations. So it's you never understand, going back to what I said about Stoney, you never understand the impact that a small gesture can have. It's a ripple effect. It's like throwing a stone in a pond. It can branch out and have everlasting impact.
So stay tuned. We got lots of people to talk to. We got Grizz, the man himself, who's organizing this, along with a lot of his friends and volunteers. We got some people representing Camp Susan Curtis that are here. We want to talk with them, of course. And maybe we'll even be able to slide in a couple of random folks that are here, Todd, which is always fun, to just meet people, talk to them, and see what their perspective on this is all about. You can help support our troops by participating in the 10th anniversary of the Spring Ride for the Troops that takes place on Saturday, April 30th, out of York High School. Registrations are from 8 to 10:30 a.m. Please go to ridandsteel.com for details.
Ride for Help and Hope to benefit My Breast Cancer Support, August 12th, 8:30 a.m. with kickstands up at 11 a.m. at the American Legion Route 125 in Epping, New Hampshire. For more information, email Brenda Smith at bssmith_new41@yahoo.com.
All right, as I said, we want to talk to the man himself, Grizz Gallipo. How are you, Grizz?
Doing great today. We have a beautiful day, nice breeze, low humidity. I'm loving this.
Right.
It's going to be a good turnout, really good turnout, I think.
Yeah, this is your second annual memorial run for Stoney's since it's been renamed. How many years now are we talking? 37?
36.
36.
It's been 7 that he passed. He died on his 29th.
That's right.
So it'll be 30. This year's 36.
Right. So how are things going? You happy?
So far, so good. We're doing really good.
Yeah, great. I wanted to talk about the cause that you decided to choose to give the benefits to this year. The money that you're raising. You chose Camp Susan Curtis, and why is that?
Oh, a good friend of mine. They have kickstands up for kids. They're raising money for kids to send kids to underprivileged kids to camp for a couple of weeks, and anything to do with kids, Stoney wanted. So I want to bounce around and give money to more than one place. Yeah. This year it's Camp Susan Curtis. Next year it might be something else. Yeah. But it has to deal with kids in Maine. And that's
why was that? Do you know why that was such a passion with Stoney?
Stoney loved kids. He loved kids. He loved his grandson. He always had his grandson here. Now the kid's what? 19 now? Brandon,
Yep.
Pony's oldest, and we just stick with kids. He loved kids. You know.
So you've had an opportunity to tour the facility. You were impressed by the people there and whatnot.
Very much so. The kids loved Sean and I's bike. We pulled in like, whoa, bikes! You know, that was cool. You know, and we walked around, checked out the lake, checked out the facilities. It's beautiful. And I'm amazed at how they do this all on donations and fundraising and all that. It's a great thing, and that's why we're doing it this year.
Excellent. Good job. You got any questions for the man?
You know, what does it mean to you to be leading this ride? As you think about the many times that you did it with Stoney up there at the front.
I was never in the front with Stoney. This is my second time to be out front, or actually third, but my second official. I mean, it's great, but it's Stoney riding with me. And last year I left the open spot for Stoney riding with me. This year I'm putting my cousin beside me. Probably next year I'm going to put another one of my guys beside me. I mean, we'll just change it around. Maybe next year one of you guys will be it. Who knows?
You mean we'll get to ride with the man?
Maybe. I'll leave that up to you. We'll take that as it
We
goes.
we kind of push ourselves on people,
Yeah,
anyways,
they do.
don't we,
Yeah,
Todd?
they do. I got to get going, bud.
All right, you get
Right.
busy, all right? And
Yeah.
thank you so much for what you're doing today. This is awesome. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that this parking lot fills up and you got a 5,000
Yeah,
bikes,
that would be
right?
great. But
Yeah, like Stoney used to say when I'd ask him, how many rides are going to show up? He'd say anywhere between 100 and a million.
take care,
All right,
guys.
take
Thank
care,
you very
Chris.
much.
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right, Steve Maroy said find some interesting characters, so I found an interesting character. I got Shaky with me. Shake has been a recipient of a fundraiser event, a ride, Shake and Bake, obviously. We've probably interviewed you before, but what brings you to Fort Andros the first Sunday in first Sunday in August?
Cut.
We'll take it. We just roll with it.
Roll
So
with
why are you here first Sunday in August?
For the Stoney Memorial Run, and I've always come every year, and I'll never stop coming doing it. So
How many years would you say you've done the ride?
quite a few.
What makes this ride a little different than the other rides that we go on?
More motorcycles, more friends, and more happiness. And it's it's for a good cause. So
And it's the memory, it's that ride. And this ride in particular, if you haven't seen this ride, and hopefully we'll catch it on footage, but I remember when Stoney was leading it, it was almost like a parade. I mean, people were out sitting in lawn chairs, back of cars, they were
they
rendezvous
still will,
points.
don't
They
worry.
still will. They know it's the first Sunday in August. Booth Bay missed it, so it came back. Grizz has done a nice job bringing it back. What are you expecting today?
it's a good day. No clouds in the sky, no rain. So I think Stoney's up there smiling on us.
We're going to have a good ride?
We're gonna have a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lyme disease. It's hit epidemic proportions, and so many affected remain misdiagnosed. Ridin Steel and the Taste of Maine restaurant have joined forces to bring you the Ride for Lyme. Join Ridin Steel at noon on Saturday, May 6th at the Taste of Maine restaurant, Route 1 Woolwich, for a Mid-Coast Loop benefit ride. In the Ridin Steel tradition, this will be a donations-only ride to benefit Lyme disease support, awareness, and education. For more information, visit us on Facebook or ridinsteel.com.
Guys, I got 3 more people to talk to now. You're going to tell us who you are and what your affiliation is with Camp Susan Curtis.
Hi, I'm Jim Salvatore, and my wife Pat, which couldn't be here today. We have a big interest in Camp Susan Curtis for fundraising to help disadvantaged children to go to camp.
And hopefully, I don't know what order Steve will air these rides in this year, but we did cover a ride a couple weeks ago, the Kickstand Up for Kids ride. And that Kickstand Up for Kids ride does go directly to Camp Susan Curtis. So Camp Susan Curtis getting a little kickstart from both Stoney's run this year and Kickstand Up for Kids, as it does every year. So if you want to go on a ride that helps support a great cause, I recommend Kickstand Up for Kids.
Yeah, and that ride sponsored 2 kids already, so we're looking to sponsor a couple more.
Awesome. And who are you?
I'm Lori Southworth. I'm Director of Grants and Special Events with Camp Susan Curtis.
Tell us a little bit about Camp Susan Curtis in case people have not yet seen Kickstand Up for Kids.
Well, Camp Susan Curtis has been around for more than 40 years. We're dedicated just to disadvantaged Maine children. We help kids build the skills to be successful in school and life, and we help them to know that they're just as good as anybody else and that they're just as deserving of a chance to be successful in life as every other child is.
And you would be?
I am Joan Dyer, and Pam, who's on the board of directors, and I thought this whole thing up, Kickstands Up for Kids, 3 years ago and got it going. And Salvatore's kind of taken that over for us this year. They've done an excellent job.
Yeah, they've done a great job. And I'll say that ride was was a fun one last week when we did it, scooting around and up through the Oxford Hills region. So that was great. What would you hope, focusing back on Camp Susan Curtis, what would you hope would be the outcome of today?
Well, I really hope that we're able to sponsor a few more kids to attend Camp Susan Curtis. It really means the world to them. I mean, some of these kids do come from really, really tough backgrounds. And again, it's at Camp Susan Curtis that they really learn that they're worth, that somebody values them, that people think that they're really worth the investment that people are making in them. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're investing in Maine children. And the payoff is huge. These kids go on to finish high school, obviously, and go on to college or other types of training after high school. And they become happy and successful, and that's the key. We want them to be happy and healthy and successful.
And one of the things I said in the opener, and I've been able to join all of you at the banquet at the beginning of the year that they do for Camp Susan Curtis, they always have a keynote speaker, and the keynote speaker tends to be a former camper at the camp. And two of the things that I've really noticed as I've gone to that is the camp meant so much to those keynotes or campers that went there that oftentimes the campers themselves would come back and be counselors, yes. which means it had such an impact on them that they want to be able to pay it forward and give to other kids. But the other thing that really strikes me is, especially the keynotes that you have, the way that it's made generational changes for them and their families. These kids that may not have thought they had much of a future are now contributing in many ways significantly to the communities in which they live, but their children are set on a different course than they may have been had they not had the Camp Susan Curtis experience.
That's exactly right. And again, every child attends tuition free. Every child is fully sponsored through fundraising, through events like this, through community support. So we couldn't do it without folks like Grizz and Squatch and Ridin Steel, you all, and the Salvatores and the Dyers and Pam Joy, Big Moose. I can't thank everybody.
Takes a village.
Yes, it does, exactly.
Now, how much does it cost to send one camper to Camp Susan Curtis? And it's a 2-week stint, is it, or is it, how long is the camp?
It's 2 weeks during the summer, but then there are follow-up reinforcement activities throughout the year. So we do camp-to-campus trips. A lot of kids have never been to a college campus. And start them out young. That's one of the best ways to break down barriers to success.
So how much does it cost to send a camper?
It's $1,200, and it's a lot of money, but it's well worth it. It's a huge investment. And these kids really do learn that they're worth the investment, and that's so important.
So now if someone's out there watching, they don't have a bike, they don't feel comfortable maybe coming to a ride that may have a couple hundred or probably will have a couple hundred motorcycles on it, how could they make a contribution to Camp Susan Curtis?
Okay, it's really easy. Just go to susancurtisfoundation.org online, of course. We also would love it if people come and volunteer. We have a special interest Saturday where folks can come and share what they do for work and, just let the kids know what opportunities are out there. And then we help give them the tools to help them take advantage of those opportunities.
I think it's just great to open these doors for as many kids as possible. So, if you want to come on a ride that every year is going to support Camp Susan Curtis, Kickstands Up for Kids. Stoney, we don't know what the run is going to be for kids every year. We're not sure what it'll be dedicated to from year to year. You never know with them, but it'll be for a worthy cause. So Kickstands Up for Kids for Camp Susan Curtis. Stoney's Memorial Ride, first Sunday in August every year to support children in the state of Maine. So, guys, anything you want to add, or did we get it all?
I am so overwhelmed with all the bikes that are coming in here. I can't thank you folks enough for helping Camp Susan Curtis out this year. It's huge. Thanks.
I just want to say one thing, too. We've already met at least 3 folks here, 3 riders who went to Camp Susan Curtis as kids, and a couple of them have made a donation already. Talk about giving back. So they're giving back to the community, but they're giving back to the camp, too. And that's one of the things that we teach is respect and fairness and just caring. Yep. And those are some of the values that kids learn at Camp Susan Curtis.
And those...
Oh, well, they learn these things in their homes too, but we reinforce them.
And their values that they, again, will pass on to their children. So it's a win-win. So if you want to support a great cause, help change, a family's tree for generations to come, I encourage you to support Camp Susan Curtis.
I'm here with Mike Paul of the Ridin' Rock. Now, Mike, you were inspired by Stoney's Lobster Run, right?
I was. My wife at the time, Christine, we came on this run, I think it was 11 years ago. And literally 1 month later, we started Ridin' Rock. That's how inspired we were by Stoney. What he done and what it grew to and what he raised money for just really inspired her and I. And we do Ridin' Rock, and we raise money for our local food pantries to help take care of the people that are in need. What we're doing this year, we're changing it right up. He mentioned to me years ago to do it for free. That's right. By the end of the year, everybody's burnt out, a lot of people. Nobody raises more money than bikers. And by the time the end of August, September comes, everybody's kind of tapped out. So this year, which you're not going to see it until after the ride, but next year is going to be the same way. It's free. It's going to be donations only. We partnered up with the Orchard Beach Pier. They have closed up the square down there for all the bikers for the weekend. It's their bike fest. So we're going to be pulling into the square. That's where we're going to be taking off from. We're going to do our regular ride up to Rick's Cafe at the Causeway, and then back to the square. They're going to be doing a pig roast and all kinds of live music and everything else. But that's what it's going to be every year from here on out.
That's the way, that's how I really believe in that kind of thing, because I feel like any biker should be able to leave their home, pull into a parking lot without feeling someone's trying to, reach into their pockets all the time. And you know what? And if you want to make a donation, it should be a choice. And in this case, when it comes to the Ride and Rock, it's about looking in your cupboards for that can of cream corn that you've been letting sit there for a month because you thought you were going to make a shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Never got around to it.
Yeah.
Just bring it and drop it off, right? And of course, every dollar that you donate to a food bank is worth $6 more,
Yes,
right?
it's worth so much more. A few years ago, the guy that runs the soccer food pantry explained to us that every dollar donated is worth like 8 times when they go and buy the food there. So believe it or not, cash is the most important thing. They can get more for it. Don't get me wrong.
Right, they can buy the variety. They can provide a variety of foods that way, right? And when they put the boxes together and stuff for people.
Exactly. But they can buy more with the money. Plus, they still have other expenses. It's not just food that they got to buy. They still have taxes, rent, electric bill, gas bill, maintenance on their vehicles, and it's still a thing. But they can go do so much more with the money.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Awesome.
Take care, buddy. Yeah, absolutely.
They gave us a beautiful day, don't you think? Yeah. And we will be leaving at 11 o'clock sharp. So once you hear my bike start up and I'll wave my hand, that'll be right after our little quiet time for the people that passed, okay? Thank you.
I've got a story I don't dare talk about, even with my very best friend. It's driving me crazy cause I just wanna shout it out. I'm hoping it will never end. I've got reason to believe I'm not alone in this. I think you got a piece of it
Charlie's Ride, a ride to remember, Sunday, May 21st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Pepper's Garden Grill in Winthrop. Kickstands up at noon. Your $20 donation also gets you into the barbecue. Music by Caldwell Brothers. For more information, call Pepper's Garden Grill at 377-8877 or email Ted Johnston at gwi.net. Proceeds provide scholarships to the Julia Kluge Summer Camp for Girls at Camp KV.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. So the time has come in my life to take a road I choose. Just when things seem peachy keen and I feel I couldn't lose. The times could change like the sun will rise and it just might not hear my cry. So I think I'm gonna hold my head up high. I won't believe in everything you say, knowing I could be here another day. You try and take my whole life out of whack.
I'm here with Grizz Gallipo. Grizz, it's been a beautiful day. Great turnout. You had more bikes this year than you did last year and the year before, and it's just growing and growing.
Little at a time, man. Little at a time. It's
But
going to take us a while.
Isn't it wonderful, though, really, to see it coming back alive?
yeah.
I met a guy from Mississippi today who's been coming around, and he's back. I saw your friends from New York showed up today.
Oh, yeah.
Missed Big John, no. Where's Big John?
Big
You know,
John, Big John couldn't make it this year. He was going to try at the last minute. He was going to try, but he couldn't make it this year.
I want to thank you for doing that, picking Camp Susan Curtis this year, because I've been there and I've been on the Kickstands Up for Kids ride now a couple of times, and I've been to the camp itself. I actually toured it, and it's amazing what they do with the kids down there, how they make them feel loved and cared about, and they nurture them through very difficult times in their lives in some cases, and it's just, it's so promising.
Pony, Stoney's son, ended up going there. His mother told me that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have gone there. I had a couple guys walk up to me today and gave me a $300 donation to Camp Susan Curtis from two guys that went there when they were kids.
Right.
And they have their own construction company now.
Yeah.
And they walked up to me and they gave me that. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that floored me. And I can't thank everyone enough, you know.
Right. And, it's moments like that, experiences
Very
like
humbling.
that. Absolutely. But it also makes you realize how much of a difference you're making in people's lives, Grizz. You know what I'm saying?
We try.
Seriously,
We
right?
try.
Absolutely.
We try.
A good thing. It's a positive thing, and I love it. So thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you very much,
And we're
brother.
going to see you next year.
Oh, yeah.
And
next
before,
year.
hopefully. right?
bigger and better every year, brother.
Absolutely.
All right, bro.
Absolutely. Take care.
Be safe.
I'm here with Todd now. Todd, we're nearing the end of the show. Beautiful weather today. It's not too hot. It's not, it's not raining, thank God. And, more bikers showed up for this run this year than ever. It's the largest ride of the year thus far. So, folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll see you on next year's run, Stoney's Memorial Ride, and that you'll join us. It's on the first Sunday of every August, and that's the way it goes. This is the 36th 36th run. It's the second annual Memorial Ride, but the 37th ride since Stoney's Lobster Run has started. And I want to say, go to ridinsteel.com, check out my calendar on a regular basis.
And I keep going back to what you said earlier. Why are the Danny Willettes, the Todd Sanders, the Richard Riskies, why Tom Atwoods, why are we still here? Because we like to believe that what we're doing makes a difference and has an impact on lives of, in this case, young children. And what better cause is than that? There isn't one.
Can't top that. Listen, folks, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching Ridin Steel. See you next week.
Lyme disease. It's hit epidemic proportions, and so many affected remain misdiagnosed. Ridin Steel and the Taste of Maine restaurant have joined forces to bring you the Ride for Lyme. Join Ridin Steel at noon on Saturday, May 6th at the Taste of Maine restaurant, Route 1 Woolwich, for a Mid-Coast Loop benefit ride. In the Ridin Steel tradition, this will be a donations-only ride to benefit Lyme disease support, awareness, and education. For more information, visit us on Facebook or ridinsteel.com.
Ridin Steel is brought to you in part by
Ray Labby & Sons Incorporated in Brunswick, a family-owned construction company servicing the Mid-Coast area since 1955.